It's a way to shine while still always asking for more from the player. And I think this is part of why enemy scaling generally feels a bit off. Having most things in a world level at the exact rate you do smooths out these peaks and valleys that offer much needed tension and release, in turn leading stat upgrades to feel less meaningful. Anyway, regardless of the fact that stat upgrades can be a solid enough reward if implemented cleverly, they are still an artificial kind of reward. Effective, yeah, but not all that interesting to actually get, as intended stat upgrades don't really do much to change the actual gameplay. So this is why I find rewards that truly shift the experience, and not just my perception of the experience, to be the most satisfying. A title I played recently that did this pretty well was Convergence: A League of Legends story. As you work through the game, you unlock new abilities, and almost every single one changes how you approach both platforming and combat. Having most of the abilities be useful in multiple ways made them valuable, and as I implemented them into my playstyle more and more, I started to feel super powerful, especially in fights. And it wasn't because I just did more damage, it was because I could utilize my new abilities in a way that made me more effective and efficient. Each upgrade made the game more fun to play, leading to rewards always feeling great to get. In general, Metroidvanias like Convergence do a better job of rewarding players in this way because they kind of have to due to their core principles. If a world is created with barriers that can only be overcome through upgrades found on the journey, by default, players will have to be rewarded with said upgrades. These games are designed to regularly recontextualize how the player views the world, creating a lot of fertile ground for rewards that feel meaningful. And honestly, I imagine this is part of why Metroidvanias, especially ones that focus on adding upgrades that impact all aspects of gameplay, have become so prevalent. Players actually get something worthwhile, and the gameplay is constantly evolving. Another genre that does this well and has become wildly popular are roguelikes, where every run you get new rewards that completely change up how things work, leading to tons of fresh-feeling gameplay. This isn't to say that every title should be based around abilities that constantly shift how things work. Not all games need to be optimized in this way, and if they were, it would lead to the entire industry stale, but it definitely is the reward structure that I think has the highest potential for player satisfaction. Of course, not all upgrades that recontextualize how you play a game are created equal. Making multiple abilities that meaningfully fit into every phase of a game is a massive undertaking, and depending on the core gameplay loop, it can be especially hard to develop interesting and novel abilities to reward players with. And unfortunately, this sometimes leads to games rewarding them with things that make them engage with the game less instead of more. Take the famous not indie game, Dave the Diver. In it, you collect fish to sell at your sushi restaurant, which earns you money that can be spent on upgrades to help you get more fish and to sell more sushi at your restaurant. At first, this is all in service of growing the restaurant, and that's when the game feels at its best. You get more air in your tanks to dive for longer, and bigger storage to carry more fish on each go, and take on additional responsibilities at the restaurant in order to make more money and make customers happier. But this is pretty short-lived, and over time the focus shifts to a questline that doesn't have all that much to do with the restaurant. As this happens, the upgrades you'll start to unlock, like the fish nursery and better employees, lead to you doing the core part of the game less, especially with the restaurant sections. By the mid-game, the employees cover the vast majority of responsibilities, and pretty much the only thing I was left to do was wash dishes. As for the diving part of it, once the nursery is unlocked, you don't need to catch nearly as many fish in order to be properly stocked at the restaurant, and really after only a bit of setup, it pretty much replaces the need to gather fish at all. These approaches solve the problem of the gameplay loop getting stale by just having you do less of it, which I don't think is an ideal solution. It'd feel much better if these gameplay aspects expanded in complexity instead of being simplified. And to be clear, that doesn't mean there can't be automated aspects. A game like Factorio is all about setting up automated systems that allow you to gather more resources, but as those systems expand in scope, new problems arise for the player to solve, meaning there's always something new and interesting to figure out. The upgrades in Dave the Diver, though, feel more like the be-all end-all. So as the focus shifts from supplying and managing the restaurant to completing story missions filled with really basic mini-games and puzzles, it loses a lot of steam. It's a game that tries to do a little bit of everything, leading to it being a shallow experience. And while early on my brain was buzzing from constantly being rewarded for doing one thing or another, by the end, all those rewards never led to something that felt important or made the game more interesting. It's also worth noting that intended character progression isn't always just based around devs doling out specific stats and abilities at set points in order to make the player feel a certain way. For instance, skill trees give players control over what their character can do. While plenty of games end up having some skills on the tree that are mandatory or close to mandatory, for the most part, the various choices on it represent just one viable way to approach the game. Players aren't just rewarded with an ability, they are rewarded with the chance to choose the ability that they are most interested in, creating a sense of player agency and the potential for more replayability for those who want to go back and skip the builds. A similar thing can be achieved with stats that the player needs to allocate themselves that are tied to weapon. But skill trees have definitely become a more popular option, mostly because of their simplicity. There are a few issues with them, of course, one being that not every ability on the path is something the player will actually use or interested in using, but they may have to choose it in order to get to the things that they're actually working towards, causing the moment-to-moment progression to feel less satisfying. Also, as the player isn't guaranteed to have specific abilities, this makes it harder to design the world and encounters with any given ability in mind, potentially limiting the amount of interesting interactions the ability can have. And this is one of the same issues that comes up with purely optional rewards. Their importance has to be understated, as it isn't something all, or in some cases even most, players will come across. The more interesting an item, mechanic, or ability is, the more it begs the question of if it should just be a core part of the game. The logic being if something is a certain level of fun, then the player shouldn't miss it. So optional rewards tend to fall into this space of people that are valuable enough to still want to go after, but not so interesting that people it's the best stuff in a game. Although some devs don't seem bothered at all by this idea. A recent example of a title like this is Animal Well. I won't spoil or show any specifics as the thing that makes the game so easy is figuring stuff out for yourself, but it is filled with so many secrets that almost feel like they weren't meant to be discovered. In fact, I don't think a few of them were. Wildest bit to me is that there are some major rewards that change up how you engage with the world dramatically that I imagine a lot of people who roll credits will never even see. Developers, doing this is a huge risk, as if things are easy to miss, then a lot of players will probably miss them and potentially be left feeling like the game was lacking in content. It takes the devs having a strong understanding of and a lot of trust in their target audience to pull this off. And I imagine most studios come to the conclusion that it's not a worthwhile risk. So instead we get a lot of stat upgrades, whether that be for the character themselves or their gear, weapons that oftentimes just do slightly more or different kinds of damage, and of course cosmetics, which don't have gameplay implications but do let you change up the visuals a bit. These rewards aren't bad. All of them have the capacity to shake things up just enough to keep you looking for more, and the ones that improve stats will add to that feeling of progressing a character that players crave. But they don't feel as important, and they also have a number of costs. One being that if the player is rewarded with too many different things, they might not have much use for a lot of it. Consider Elden Ring. It has an overwhelming amount of places to explore and rewards to get. Everywhere you go will net you points for leveling up, and oftentimes a few materials that you'll almost certainly make use of. So you're never going to walk out of a place having gathered nothing of value. However, when clearing a cave or a crypt, the major reward for killing a boss generally will be a new weapon or spell, and most of the time you won't even use it. It's great that you get a unique reward, and as FromSoft is FromSoft, the weapons rarely just offer stat upgrades. They'll also provide unique movesets that will have some impact on how you approach combat. But as everything in the game has stat requirements, you can't experiment with a weapon or spell the moment you get it. To get a real feel for it, you need to respec your character, which uses a limited resource. And for weapons, in order to see how it compares to your previous one, you to upgrade it. And while most of the smithing stones are not finite, you're not exactly drowning either. It would take a lot of grinding to get enough to upgrade multiple weapons immediately. So while there is excitement to not knowing what you might come across, the reality is most of the time the actual reward is not for you. The solution to this issue is to just have a few set rewards that the player will pretty much always want to get. And this is how Tears of the Kingdom does it. Like its predecessor, Tears of the Kingdom has a small pool of rewards that are all tied to doing specific things. So players will generally know exactly what they're putting based on the thing they're engaging with. Doing a shrine will net them a blessing, exploring the depths will bring them zonite and crystallized charges, clearing out caves will get them bubble gems, and so on and so on. All of these things have pretty obvious value, and as players will almost always know what they're going to get, they can prioritize doing the stuff that will give them rewards that will be most useful to them. Now, the problem with this method is it becomes super repetitive. A game that props itself up as one where you uncover secrets, will you actually uncover is one, that's probably just a currency. Also, if one type of reward isn't all that much use to how you approach the game, then you'll be more likely to stop interacting with whatever place gets you that reward, making large swaths of the world no longer relevant to you.
Oh shit, I didn't realize my internet connection was so shit.
Reward is unclear, but there's really only one instance where you get a permanent reward that feels unique. And it's awesome. For a game this size, it should have way more. Most of the time, it is just a bigger version of the stuff you want. There's nothing quite as deflating as a long, mysterious quest to find that there is just a heartbeat at the end of it. So naturally, the solution to this issue is to have rewards for every place to explore, and yeah, the point is both approaches can to a fair bit of disappointment. And look, these are two of my favorite games, so it's not as if these reward structures ruin them. It's just that they don't always provide the satisfaction they're meant to. I think one of the biggest ways that takes shape in both games touches back on the problem that I talked about at the start of the video, that collecting too many optional rewards can make things too easy. Especially in Elden Ring, optional content acts as a way to essentially augment the difficulty. While this is great for those struggling, it acts almost as a consequence for more skilled players who like to explore and also want things to always feel challenging. This leaves some players having to choose between one experience or the other. And to bring it back fully, this is why the Valkyrie quest in God of War 2018 left me feeling so conflicted. I lost out on a certain experience by engaging with optional content. Now there are ways developers try to address this. For instance, with God of War 2018, even though doing the Valkyrie questline makes you overpowered for the main part of the game, you do still have to take on the Valkyries, who are extremely challenging. So those looking to be pushed to their limits might not get that from the main game, but will from the side content, which is something, even if the timing for it is kind of off. To Sony Santa Monica's credit, the sequel, God of War Ragnarok, improved things a bit by placing the hardest optional fights in the post-game, so the rewards you get from them won't impact anything in the main part of the game. But it does also make the gear you get feel even more pointless, as these fights will probably be the last things you do. To be honest, both feel like half measures. I much prefer when games take the next step of rewarding the completion of side content with unlocking a new challenge that is tied to the main content. The prime example that I've talked about in the past, and
that I think is just a personal issue for you. I don't know about you, but I really like engaging with post-game. In pretty much every game I play. If there's a post-game, you can bet your ass I'll be playing it.
A considerable challenge. In some ways, it ends up being the best of both worlds, because to access the true final boss, you still have to fight the original final boss. So for those who have taken their time to collect everything to get to this point, he will be kind of a pushover. Allowing you to live the power fantasy will also still be a challenge.
Games are always better with a post-game.
Be the hardest thing you do, and the reward of relief from being done with it feels better than anything else could. And you also get a more satisfying ending to the story, which is great as well. I do get why God of War 2018 didn't follow this exact approach. Having the Valkyrie questline change the main questline in a meaningful way would most likely require the game to have a significantly different ending from path, and as the title is very intentional with the story it is trying to tell, a split like this would work against creating the impact it's aiming to make. I do still think it would have been a more interesting way to do it, but they clearly didn't want their best emotional beats to be missable, as that would make the climax not hit as hard and the sequel be more confusing for those who didn't do it. This is understandable, but I do find myself wishing more developers were unafraid of whether or not people encountered the best parts of their game. That is the beauty of optional content and rewards. Not everyone will experience them. They are something the player has to work to uncover, and as they're not just readily handed over, it feels exclusive and special. It feels like forming your own narrative. It has to be earned, and when the reward is something that feels substantial, that isn't what you normally expect to be rewarded with, there is something about being a player who earned it that feels spectacular. And I don't even think about other people missing it. Instead, it's knowing that you simply could have that makes it hit so hard. I think with a lot of games, the type of player who most enjoy pursuing optional rewards, that being those who love a challenge, who revel in uncovering mysteries, who want to get the most out of a game, aren't who they are designed for. Even though I think that is a bit of a shame, I do struggle to say that they should be designed for that kind of player. Because at the end of the day, it makes sense why devs would focus more on the experience of the average player rather than on this relatively small subsection. Developing a game involves spinning many plates, and while it is easy to say that every title should have optional content that elevates the experience and gives players a new challenge to engage with, that can't and won't be a priority for every developer. To get paid, games need to be able to sell, so design and balance decisions will always be impacted by that. Rewards are a necessary but flawed part of games. They can help signify the importance of a task, offer ways to evolve what a title is about, and motivate players to play more. However, they also can trivialize the core gameplay of a title, provide you with something you'll never actually use, and become predictable and stale to neglect. Making rewards feel good is a delicate balance that goes beyond the pure function of the thing and into the player's perception of the thing, which is immensely difficult to manage. However, when devs get close, the immediate positive effect that comes from doing something for it is an amazing feeling to experience, especially as it isn't something we typically get in our daily lives. You generally don't get paid the moment you're done doing a task, you don't find useful stuff that's also free by just looking around for it, and you can't just go to a skill to master it. You need time and patience. Rewards in real life are often delayed, but rewards in games let you know that you're doing the right thing right as you do it, and that is immensely appealing. Which is why I love when titles get it right. I don't expect my issues with how many games do rewards to go away. Like most aspects of game design, it is impossible to balance perfectly for each and every player. But I do hope to keep seeing titles that push the boundaries of what rewards can be, so that I can feel surprised and delighted when I earn them. Sometimes, though, the best reward you can get is the one you give yourself. Like, I don't know, a backpack with more hidden pockets than you could imagine, or a sling that lets you have a fanny pack without having to admit that you have a fanny pack, or a tech kit that can cleanly carry your Switch or other small bits of equipment. And of course,
ladies and gentlemen, my name is Max, and it is finally time to get back into the swing of things with some Advanced Wars content. Yes, I know. Haven't done Advanced Wars in a while on this channel. I was busy, I was gone in America, but now we will see more Advanced Wars content return to this channel on a regular basis. Kicking things off with a game that I played today, literally just a few hours ago. You see, I was very rusty. I could feel like, if you don't play Advanced Wars for like a month, you get very rusty. So I keep up on the Live League, and the game that I got was a pretty hilarious one, and I'd like to show it off. So, as you may know, Luxios are allowed on the Live League. I'm praying for the day where they might be allowed in globally. I think it would really spice up Tier 4 to be able to pick Flak and Jugger. But, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I'm very happy that they're allowing them on the Live League. And this is actually a high funds match. And Flak is actually pretty good in high funds. Now, you may look at this matchup and you may be like, Flak and Kindle, really? What's going on here? This doesn't seem fair at all, but actually, Flak is not so bad in high funds. He's actually Tier 3 in high funds because luck damage is very strong because there's so much money, there's so many high-tech units, so luck damage actually gets to do something. It's still a pretty tough matchup. I'd say Kindle's probably a better CO still. I think Flak is probably bottom Tier 3, but when I saw that I was in a Tier 3 high funds match, I was like, why not? Let's go for some good old Flak, shall we? And the map that we're playing on today is actually my favorite map all time. I think this actually is. I thought maybe it was top 5, but I actually think it's my favorite map of all time. It's Gloomforged. I have casted this map before on this channel, I think twice. It's a naval-centric map, which automatically makes it a lot of fun in my opinion. You have to build naval units there. Battleships are incredible because of this body of water here that goes in the center. Battleships can lock down a very large portion of the map. There are airports on the side, but they're very slow to get to. It takes a long while before you get to the airport. You'll see battlecopters maybe on day 10 and beyond. But before then, you need to build black boats to fight over this island right here, which holds 6 properties, and keep in mind it's high funds, so it's 6k income times 2 if you can control the whole island. That's okay, that's a lot. And in Live League, it's even more important because by day 30, whoever has captured the most properties will win. So it's actually very important to fight for properties in life queue. So you need to really build a lot of black boats. There's a lot of shoal control here, and with black boats, you'll eventually see battleships coming in, and then you need to build submarines, and then you need to build cruisers. So you actually get to see all kinds of naval units on this map, and because it's high funds, you can actually afford them. So that's why I really dig this map. Blue Forge is one of the most fun maps to play on, and it's live, which is even more fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to showing you guys this amazing replay commentary. Not a high-level match, as you can see right here. I have an add-on that shows like the live rating, but a fun match, nevertheless. So down here in the red trunks, we have me as Black. My opponent in the blue trunks is Ren's AI. I don't think he's an actual AI because he spoke to me during the match, playing as Kindle. I'm viewing this on the actual website because that allows me to see time remaining, which will actually be a factor in this particular match right here. So the first thing you want to do on Gloomforge is to go for these neutral bases right away. You're going to see both players do this. There are actually a myriad of really fun openers that you can do on Gloomforge. You can rush out an ABC on this base. You can get an infantry over here, capture the harbor, build a battleship, and base lock. This is actually not a bad strategy, especially if you're playing like a strong infantry seal like Sensei or Sami. You can really grab this harbor, you can really wreak havoc on your opponent. It's a bit memey, it's easy to counter, but in live, you might actually get away with it. However, rushing at an APC is not my favorite opener because you really want to get a black boat early on. Now, I actually think that player 1 has a distinct advantage on Gloomforge. Reason being is they will be able to get to the island first, which is actually a pretty big deal. And whoever can get to the island first has a big initiative advantage because they will usually be able to attack the other player. But you can see both players opening black boats right here. If you are playing a CO like Drake, who gets +1 move on black boats, or you're playing Sami or Sensei, which gets +1 move, then the black boats can actually reach the island 1 turn earlier, and that's actually huge. So Drake is extremely strong on the Gloomforge. He's an entire tier higher than he usually is, because naval units are actually useful on this map. I mean, you may remember the replay that I casted. I was playing Drake against Sensei, and I was able to just murder my opponent because of global damage and his strong naval units. So Drake is ridiculous on Gloomforge. If I get a tier 2 Gloomforge match, I always pick Drake. I think he's amazing. So both players opening APC right here. I was very happy to see this. This is a transport-heavy map, so you want to build APCs, you want to build black boats. You can see I'm already going for the Center Island, and actually built a second black boat as well. So, because, again, you're actually going to be producing so much infantry on Gloomforge because there's so many properties to capture. And because you have these harbors, you have 2 harbors, you have 3 harbors for each player. You can actually build a lot of naval units. And when you build naval units, it's usually better to pump out the infantry with your bases because naval units are so expensive. So here, I'm just using the black boats to move my infantry forward a little bit, and here you can see I'm setting up the black boat to transport even more infantry. I want to try and kind of grab the central island as much as possible. So, I build a rocket, and I build another APC. Maybe a little bit overkill, but my opponent built 2 APCs, so I was like, why not? You know, I figured it probably will work out. Rockets are very strong on Gloomforge on the sides right here. Like, you can nestle a rocket like here, and you can pretty much like lock down the entire right-hand side. So indirects are actually pretty damn strong on this map. This is a very strange map. This is not your traditional map. Like, you'll actually not see many vehicles at all here. It's going to be naval units, air units, and indirects for the most part. There'll be some vehicles, but because of the narrow nature of the map, you don't really see a lot of play, which I actually think is pretty fun. So, as they rolls in right here, both players are still very much in our capture phase. I use my APC because I want to try and grab this airport early, as well as there's also 2 com towers on this loop. Power is generally very high, which I really like in high fronts. Otherwise, high fronts can be a little bit stally. You can see I'm moving infantry over to the island. I really want to try and grab these properties early. If you can control the entire island, then you're in a very good spot. However, my opponent is already building his first battleship. And this battleship is going to be a problem because it's soon going to be able to lock out the entire island. And I don't really have this harbor yet, so I can't really build a submarine. I can build a submarine on the left-hand harbor, but The submarine won't really get to the battleship in time, so there's really no point. Emperor has a tank right now on the left side, and he's using his black boats to transport even more infantry to the central island. And now he builds a cruiser anticipating the submarine, so it's a bit of a bold move right here, but he knows that I have to build the submarine to counter his battleships. He's just preemptively building a cruiser. Cruisers are units you almost never see in Advanced Wars because they're really bad, but on Gloomforge you actually need to build them because they're the only counter to submarines, and because battleships are so good, you will see submarines out of the enemy. So this is what I love about, like, naval combat actually works in Advanced Wars as long as there's an incentive to build battleships. Battleships is what starts the entire chain. So when you build battleship, your opponent builds subs. When your opponent builds subs, you build cruisers. And then your opponent, you have to build battleships to counter the cruisers, and then you bring like bombers out to try and counter the cruisers, which may lead to your opponent building carriers to ward away bombers. So again, kind of the naval avalanche, or the kind of like what's the word I'm looking for here? It's like a cascade. It starts whenever battleships come onto the field. So I build a battleship of my own. Again, I don't really have this harbor captured yet, so I would have loved to build a submarine, but since he has a cruiser, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm just going to build a battleship on my side, I'm okay. And here I decided to do something a little reckless. I actually attack and go on a property, and I start capturing here. This does give him... This is, in hindsight, not a very good move on my end. Keep in mind this is live, so, you know, neither of us are playing, like, super optimally. But I really should. This is a bad engagement. I really shouldn't have done this. This was a net loss for me. It does have the benefit of keeping his battleship locked down in this position. He could have moved the battleship down here and locked down my harbor, which would have actually been a problem. Because the submarine, if I build a submarine, he'll shoot on the submarine and he'll deal a lot of damage to me. So, yeah, thinking about it, maybe it was like a good idea to like trick him into keeping his battleship stationary. So, he does have a tank here, which is a bit annoying. It's going to start interrupting my infantry. He moves this cruiser down as well, using its APC to try and get the airport, which is smart. Day 10 rolls in. I'm not going for both my comm towers. And here I make a little bit of an oopsie. I do not capture the comm tower first before I attack. I hate it when I do this. And again, I love how the black boats can be used for repairs. It's so cool. And here you can actually see I have a very big infantry presence on this island, but he does have a battleship in a better position than me. This rocket is not really doing a whole lot. I mean, it's kind of threatening infantry, but I'm not. In hindsight, I wasn't super happy with this rocket. I think I would have preferred just save up money for like for another battleship instead. I do have 46k in the bank though, so I do have a lot of money to spend this turn, and I build a battleship on my right side, as well as a lander. Now this lander, I kind of regret building it. The idea is to try and get, like, I didn't have enough money for an anti-air. The idea was to try and get an anti-air on the island because that locks down any air pressure that your opponent will be able to bring later. I only had enough money for a recon, so I was like, if I can get a recon on the island, I guess that works. But he does have battleships in position, so it's not like the recon will have free range to target infantry. It will get shot down eventually. And this tank is just being very annoying right now. I don't really have a good response for it. So, in hindsight, I think instead of a lander, probably should have built a tank instead. So, a little bit annoying, and now he has two battleships coming in. He's doing a good job warding away the island. I'm not able to take this, and now, look at this position of the battleship. This battleship now covers practically the entire island. So he has two battleships in position right here, which means he's going to win the central island. He brings in his cruiser as well, just, you know, there's no submarine yet. But he built a submarine to ward away this battleship, so you can see the naval combat. The naval combat is in full swing right now. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, naval combat is just so much fun. He builds a tank on the right side, which is probably a smart move. I bring both of my black boats. I love it when you have two black boats because you can use them to refuel each other. And then I build two more infantry. Again, I don't want to give him the central island. I may not be able to take these properties, but I'm sure as hell going to try and prevent him from taking mine. But I'm moving all over with a decent sized force on the right hand side here, and my battleship is also in like a decent position right here. And I'm getting ready to transport a lot of units next turn. Using this APC just to protect my infantry at this point. Now I have to build a cruiser because I need some kind of counter to the submarine right here. So cruiser comes out. I'm trying to stay out of range of his battleships for the most part. So, the 11 rolls in. My opponent dives his sub.
Nope.
Captures the com tower. Deals a little bit of damage to my infantry. Not a bad move. Attacks my NPC. And I'm going for this property as well. So my opponent actually does have a decent income lead on me right now, so I do need to do something about that. He's moving his battleships just on the outskirts of my range. Builds a rocket. I think the idea is to try and protect his own submarine against my cruiser, but that's still a trade I'm okay with taking. Like, I'm okay with trading a cruiser for a sub anyway, so... And it's not like the rocket one-shots the cruiser, so it'll only be damaged. So here I'm like, okay, I don't want him to take this property, he already has an income lead, I'd like for it not to be bigger. I set up my rocket in a defensive position right here. This turn, I get a little cheeky. I decide to do a huge amphibious assault right here. I just go ham. I even move in my lander and I unload a recon on the shore, which probably not a great idea. This lander's going to be a target. I think battleships can, with a com tower, they one-shot the lander, I'm fairly certain. I'm pretty sure they do. So that's like a one-shot immediately. Yeah, 104%, so not great, it's not great. Oh, I think I skipped a... Oop, what happened here? Oh.
Roll for me.
What did I do?
One with the sound.
Oh, there. Sorry, I skipped. I went 2 turns back. So yeah, here I actually just decide to let his sub attack my battleship, which may not be the best, but I figured I could just destroy the cruiser. And he moves in his rocket to protect his submarine, but that does allow me to get a shot on it. And he kills my lander, yeah, he kills my lander and my black boat, so I lost 2 transports there. And he pops his Virgum Light. So, pretty scary turn for me. He's doing a lot of damage. And he's transporting more units. I lost 2 transports, which is actually a pretty huge blow. So... not the best play for me. He's also threatening true properties on the left-hand side here. So I was a little bit sad about that. Now we're starting to build battle hookers out. I pop my barbaric blow, and my goal right now is to try and clear out this entire island. And I talk about my battleship, a pretty bad roll, all things considered. I kind of want to see like how much damage that had potential to do. If I remember correctly, it was pretty high. Yeah, 25 to 71. So I could have dealt 7 HP. I dealt 4, so I guess it was okay, all things considered. Kill his submarine. And I go for his tank. I deal 6 HP of damage, just a pretty good barbaric blow, honestly. And here comes the recon. The recon's going to be useful in cleaning up these infantry. I will be able to kill a lot of his infantry here. Cruiser as well. And a pretty decent tank engagement. Could have one-shot it. And so far, like if you look at our value, it's slightly ahead of me. It was not a great. Honestly, a brute force might have been a better here. Some power charge.
Oh,
I don't really know how very low was the play there. He gets a pretty decent chain on the right-hand side here. He kills my battleship. He damages my other battleship, so I'm taking a lot of damage here. I'm being a little bit reckless with my engagements, playing a little bit too much like Flak in the campaign here. He's got 3 battleships right now, which is not good for me. So let's see, day 14 rolls in, and at least I'm doing decently on the sides. Like, I'm kind of losing in the middle, but I'm doing decently on the side. My battle booker's coming in right here. I set up my battleship. And I just, I tried to capture what I can. I am actually, I am winning the ground battle here, but I'm losing the naval battle. So his battleships are free range. But I think if I can just keep this battleship focused on shooting on my infantry, then maybe I can just keep them locked down forever and win on the sides. That's kind of my game plan right now. I'm winning on both sides right here, so I don't hate my position, but he definitely has a big value lead over me due to taking those right now. And I continue to just, once again, I'm placing my black boat in range of the battleship. I really have lost too many transports in this. I should have transported here instead. I don't really know why I did this. Again, live league, I didn't check all the ranges. You can see that my opponent is very low on time though, 8 minutes to my 14, so my idea here is to just keep playing and eventually maybe time my opponent out.
One is the sound.
So he's moving in with a battle copter here though, which is going to be problematic for me, and he still has both of his transports, and he kills my transports. I actually have no transports left. He's killed 2 black boats, he's killed 2 black boats and 1 lander. This is actually a problem for me right now because I cannot transport any more units.
I got your back.
So I really should have taken better care to protect my transports in this battle. I really shouldn't have given him all these free hits. He builds another cruiser. So his naval force is actually pretty scary now. He also does a very annoying move here with the sub blocking in my sub. And he kept attacking my battlecopters with these units. I'm not really sure why he did that. Bit of a weird play from him. Alright, so day 15 rolls in. I have my power ready, but I don't think I pop it this turn. Recon is actually being pretty valuable. I'm killing a lot of infantry units, but as long as he has 4 battleships right now, so it doesn't really matter how many units I kill. He's going to take the island eventually, especially considering I have no transports. But again, my battlecopters are doing pretty well. He should have built an Empire on the left-hand side. His cruisers can't really reach my battlecopters in this position, so I'm actually liking my position on the left-hand side. I have a lot of infantry ready to cap these properties. So even if I'm going to lose some of these properties, if I can take the side properties, it should all be good. And I have to build 2 black boats this turn because I lost so many transports. So now I'm going to get shelled by battleships again. And my recon, good old recon Sean, is also getting taken out. So he's amassing a very big armada in the center here, and this is starting to get kind of scary. So I'm a little bit scared right now. He pops another Urban Blight. It's so annoying how many Urban Blights Kindle can fire off. Yeah, I found. He also gets to shoot on my rocket, which is not great. And he also built a bomber from this airport, so now I need some kind of response to that. So it's my turn. I pop my Brute Force to see if I can get some decent luck rolls. I'm trying to take down this tank, but it's just not working. It remains on 1 HP, which is very sad. I bring an Untire to ward away the bomber. And he allows me to get a pretty good position with my battleship here. Of course, he does have a battlecopter, but I also have a lot of battlecopters of my own. But I am starting to dominate on the left-hand flank here. He needs to be careful. He really doesn't want to lose this comm tower, so he needs to do something here. And I am kind of just going scorched earth on a lot of his infantry, but he has 2 transports ready to transport more infantry to the island, so I really won't be able to hold on to this island. It's only a matter of time before he takes it back. He gets a decent shot on my battleship here with the battlecopter. It doesn't do too much damage, but it's still annoying. But I'm still a little bit behind in income, and I am lacking a lot of naval units. However, my saving grace is the timer. Look at this, my opponent is at 5 minutes. He's going to be on increment real soon, and at that point, he's going to start to play really poorly. He's bringing in a lot of battleships on the left flank, and this is very scary. And he builds a carrier. Pretty good move on his end. It completely shuts down any battlecopters in the area. 30,000 is a big investment, but I think it's a decent price to pay in order to completely lock down air units on one side of the battle. So carrier is actually a pretty good unit on Google Bridge, which is another reason why I really love this map. So here, I decide to go for his battlecopters. I get a nice little shot at his battleship, and I pop another Brute Force. I do get to shot this rocket, which I like. That's kind of sad I didn't kill it, though. But I was pretty happy with the damage I dealt to him this turn. I'm moving my submarine. The hope is to try and trap his bomber. I don't think he's going to fall for it, but I'm actually dealing a pretty significant damage to him this turn, so I was pretty happy about this. So moving in on the sides, bringing in artillery, hoping to maybe lock down his harbor eventually. So he actually took a lot of damage this turn. I think I was almost able to equalize our unit value. He still had by about 50k, but look, I was able to deal a lot of damage to his naval units this turn. So here, I was very surprised to see him not pop Urban Blight, but now he's capturing 2 properties on the island, and eventually he's probably going to get these 2 as well, so it's a pretty good counterattack from him. He's dealing a lot of damage. My sub went down, very sad. And look at the Armada that he's masked on the left-hand side right now. This is getting very scary for me. And at this point, I'm like, oh my, he's gonna pop High Society, isn't he? Because he's not popping Urban Blight. So I'm like, ooh, okay, he's got a lot of properties. I need to be careful now. He blunders a Battle Booker for no reason at all. I think he got trapped, actually. Yeah, he trapped himself in this, which allows me to take it down, which is very nice. But, here, at this point, I'm just trying to weaken some of his low HP units, and honestly, this is kind of reckless by me. I know a High Society is coming. I really shouldn't be moving on this flank at all, especially considering how many battleships he has in the area. And with the carrier and everything, I'm trying to sneak a submarine through, but the problem with the submarine is he sees it, because it moves through his infantry's vision right here. So, honestly, looking at this was very reckless of me. So day 18 rolls in, and he's not popping his powers. And I was very surprised to see this. And you're about to see one of the big fatal first mistakes. Well, actually, I've made many mistakes so far, but you're about to see something very, very, very scary. So he has a big Armada on the left-hand side right here. And at this point, I really should have predicted the High Society. You can see I'm pulling back, but there's one thing I'm not aware of. And that's the fact that with High Society, this bomber can destroy this Empire. So, he pops his High Society. That's a big firepower increase right now. So look at how much damage this bomber is doing to this Empire. 120%. So, he goes in with High Society, he murders both my Empire, and gets a really good engagement on my tank on the right-hand side as well. Oof, really bad. I was winning on the right-hand side, now I'm losing. So that was a pretty scary High Society. However, look at his time. He's got 23 seconds left on the clock. He is officially on increments. And that's kind of my saving grace on this map. I'm like, okay, I'm losing, I'm behind on value, I'm behind on unit count, and we're tied on income, but maybe, if I just keep playing, he'll start making mistakes due to being low on time. Different people handle being on increment differently. Some people, they just crumble immediately once they're on increment. Other people are able to kind of speed up and not play that much worse. But it's definitely a big advantage for me. Like, I have been able to stockpile 11 minutes, which means I can actually take my time with my movements and actually, like, think about where I place my units, whereas he just has to move. So you can see right here, he's actually playing very passive this turn, and when I saw this, I was kind of happy because I was like, okay, well, yeah, we can build up a large army. I don't mind at all. You're an increment, buddy. So I'm okay with letting the unit count rise on both sides right here. This favors me right now. So here, I take out his battle filter. And my goal right now is I can hold these two properties with my battleships. I won't be able to take this island, but what I can do is I can attempt to go for the sides, and I also need to try and prevent him from taking my sides. If I can do that, we are on day 21, there's 9 days left. I do have a victory condition here, even though it looks pretty bleak. There is a way for me to win this game. If I can just stall it out, try to get a property, maybe I can even play for a draw. So this game, while it looks bad, it's not as bad as you might think. When your opponent is on increment, you should always keep playing. But here, he is able to secure this property right here. I also blunder and I put a battle booker in range of the carrier, but he also blunders and put his carriers in range of my battleship. So I think it's a fairly good trade, all things considered. So he goes hard for the right-hand side right here. And this turn, I take my time. I remember sitting in Move Planner because I had like 11 minutes stockpiled up. And I find a pretty decent attack. I take out his Battlecopter, I shoot on his carrier, I activate Brute Force. And this is a little bit of a gamble right here if you look at the damage. 78 to 146%. So I'd say it's like a probably someone in the comment section can probably do the math, but I think this is roughly like a 60 to 70% chance of success.
What should I have for dinner?
But I am able to take out the APC, which allows me to bring my fighter and take out his bomber. So this is a good engagement of mine. I attack here, probably not the best idea. But now, you may notice that my battle copter actually is uncontested in the center right here. He doesn't have any battle copters. He has a fighter here, but this battle copter can actually ward away most of his infantry here. And my opponent is on increment. So I go in with Fanfire, which are pretty potent during black power. I must say, black power. You can see my opponent is struggling like 2 minutes and 36 seconds. He goes for another High Society, which actually ends up being pretty damn good. So High Society, don't underestimate it in Icons, guys. It's actually pretty strong. See right here, it's not getting a lot of city effects. It's getting some. It's actually doing a lot of damage here.
How reliable.
And he's also now slightly ahead in income.
Attack is the best defense.
Oh, he's got a very scared Caravana still. This turn, I'm actually able to pull off a pretty decent counterattack.
Luminous energy. Listen up.
I go in, I focus fire down his Unfire, and now my bottom motor is pretty much free reign to do whatever he wants, especially considering his carrier is conduct pretty soon. Take down a submarine, or almost take down a submarine. I was very angry about this. I want to see the roll on this. I have a chance to kill it. 89 out of 80%. I'd say it's like maybe a 50-50 chance of taking it out. I was really hoping I'd be able to kill it. Because if I could have killed it, then my sub could have gone in and attacked his battleship. But I still get another sub of mine to attack his battleship, so I'm actually doing decent damage to his armada right now, but he could have been so much better. Like, I could have taken out 2 of his battleships this time.
One is the sound.
And I have a bomber on the way as well. I'm building a lot of bombers. The bombers are amazing right now, considering he has so many defenses and so little Empire.
From the shadows.
So we're on day 23 right now, and I'm playing for my life. He is still on increments. Sadly, he is able to do quite a lot of damage for my naval units this turn.
Victory, guide my blade.
But I'm not completely out of the game yet. I have to prevent this capture at all costs. This is extremely important.
Everyone
There's a Neo tank on the way right now, which is really nasty. It's moving a lot of infantry units as well. This turn, I activate a barbaric blow, and I blundered myself. Oh, I was so mad. I was so mad. I completely forgot about this stupid stuff. So, yeah, that was really stupid. That was incredibly stupid. And, this barbaric blow, it's okay, but it's not great. So, yeah, this was a big blunder on my end. Thought at this point I may have had a chance to turn this match around. But this following turn is just completely devastating. He activates a 3rd High Society, and he just lays into my troops. Everything I have just gets blasted off the map. This turn, I build the 3 Missiles of Shame, and I resign. So,
life is in everything.
that was the match. It's a pretty chaotic match. Pretty wild match. I think I had a chance of winning, I think. My opponent, again, with 2 seconds left. He played actually pretty well on Necroman. But I think if I had played this a little bit better, I think there would have been a chance for me to turn this around, maybe. Maybe. I could have maybe played for a draw at least. But I clutched, and I lost. But I still thought the match was fairly entertaining, and maybe you guys enjoyed it as well. I promise, guys, there's going to be more Advanced Wars content coming back on the channel. Sorry for the long absence. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a comment. It helps out a lot. And, yeah. That I've been Mace. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Very hard for me to attack into this. Day 11 rolls in. And I'm kind of stuck in a very awkward position here where I don't really want to attack on the shoals, but at the same time, how am I really supposed to attack into this? So I get a little impatient here and I start attacking. I just start, like, I figure if I can clear away enough infantry, it's going to be harder for Grimgirl to wall, but I don't want to commit to any big attack at the moment. So day 11 rolls in, Grimgirl now has her comm tower, so that's a passive 50% firepower increase, very scary. That's like come by like moral boosts, firepower level, it's really scary. So Grimgirl fires back at the infantry, takes a shot at my tank, and moves the artillery back, and very cleverly walls with her infantry. And again, similar to Grimguy, Grimgirl is being very cautious, not overextending. I mean, this is like the #1 rule I see with most Grim players is don't overextend. So here, I decide that I'm tired of playing passively. So I go in, I take 2 big shots, and I pop my turbocharge. And this does allow me to get the artillery, but there are 2 tanks in range of me, which is not great. And this tank won't really get to do anything, because it's not in range of anything. I do get to interrupt this capture, which is nice, and I get a nice little first strike on Grimgirl's tank right here. But generally speaking, I probably needed to hit at least 2 more tanks with this attack for it to be effective. So it may look like a strong push for me right now, but keep in mind, look at the power meter. Look at the power meter. Battlecopter goes down, sacks a 2 HP tank, and ladies and gentlemen, the very rarely activated Haymaker. 90% firepower increase with 2 comm towers, 110%. That's as much firepower as Grimgirl is getting right now. Let me actually double check those numbers before I... So if we bring up Grim's Dossier, the Haymaker with the boost is 90%. With comm towers, 110% firepower. I don't think there's any other CO in the game that gets firepower this big, not even max. Maybe like Colin with Power of Money. But yeah, look at this. 1 shot. Battlecopter, 1 shot. Tank, 1 shot. Other tank, 8 HP of damage. Ow! Oh, this hurts to watch. Oh my goodness. What a shellacking. What a shellacking. And yet, doesn't overextend with her other forces. Like, similar to the Grim guy. At this point, I'm kind of pissed. I'm just kind of getting back to do damage. But I realize that I'm in trouble here. Like, there's too many battlecopters here. I need more anti-air, really. So I built 2 anti-air this turn. At this point, I wouldn't say it's lost yet. We're still equal in income and unit count. So it's not like it's completely lost yet. But with these 2 battlecopters are going to be able to wreak so much havoc on me. And the fact that I just kind of gave away 4 infantry in the early game was not a good look for me. Grimgirl continues to pick up a lot of valuable kills here. My unit count really suffers this turn. Look at this. I'm down to 17. Luckily, Grimgirl doesn't have any healthy infantry to capture my properties, so it's not like she can really benefit that much. But she's still kind of decimating my unit count, which means that I just don't have that many units to play around with. Using the transport copter very cleverly to shield her infantry. And here, yeah, I move my anti-air up. At this point, I'm kind of desperate. At least I found this little cute move with the G-copter to block this tank from striking my tank, which is nice. It is nice that Grim will never have any movement increases. But that means that you have to try and take out as many of his tanks as possible before he can retaliate. And right now, I'm not really doing a good job of that. So yeah, those battlecopters are just wrecking havoc. Like, those battlecopters have killed like 2 tanks each. So,
I need to do this again.
This is just not a numbers game I'm going to win. It doesn't matter if I have movement. Grimgirl is just kind of drawing me in and balling with me. And her firepower is greater than my firepower, even though I'm Jess. And I'm not really utilizing the first strike movement. So, day 15, I pop a Desperation Turbocharge just to see if I can get back into the game. I know it's hopeless, but I want to try. I roll in with my tanks. I at least get a battlecopter, and I have a battlecopter of my own. But overall, it's not really going the way I wanted to. I built a Neo tank because I actually have some money pulled up right now. Used the T-Hunter to block Grimgirl from capturing my base. But here comes the Knuckle Duster. And this one's gonna hurt. Boom, bye-bye goes the transport. Anti-air goes bye-bye. Battlecopter. My anti-air is being blasted. And yeah, this is kind of painful. Grimgirl is smacking me around like a little kid right now. And after this turn, ladies and gentlemen, after seeing the Neo tank come out, I throw in the towel. So yeah, that was a very quick and brutal match against Grimgirl. What do you guys think about Grimgirl? Do you think she's gonna eventually rise to challenge Grimguy? Who do you think it is? Must be a 1400 plus player for sure, like, maybe.
Videos,
Unexpected discovery.
especially considering what happens typically, I'd rather not go too close to it. Now, I'm refraining from breaking the even. I'm refraining now. Sorry, just felt a bit much there for a second. I don't think whatever's in this would like what I'm doing if I were to break into any of the bells.
And that's it. He's clearly scared of whatever is going on and agrees with us that it seems ridiculous that his world might be haunted. But in the next video, the tone completely shifts.
I want to let you know that I've been doing a lot of stuff recently. Just trying, as you can probably tell. See, I had an idea that actually fueled by a comment I saw. It was Peach Jam commented. I'm glad you're back. I really think you should continue investigating the wells. If you plan on going into one, make sure to use a potion of breath underwater.
Victory.
It can be a long way down, which, of course, I figured it'd be water breathing, because, you know, it makes the most sense.
Andrew has definitely made a ton of progress since last time and has decided to jump in the well. I mean, it's just a game, right? What's the worst that can happen? So Andrew heads over to the towers and we get...
Wow, that goes all the way down. I wonder if that's...
Resolute.
It's probably where all the other doors lead. This is like the tallest one.
Power is upon us.
The other ones go down this deep? Wonder.
Strength from the shadows.
And away we go, I guess.
I got your back.
Well, without wasting any more time,
I will protect.
this is it.
More the merrier.
What in the world? After entering the well, it seems that Andrew has slipped into another dimension on top of a tower so high you can't see the ground. This is unnatural. There's no way a Minecraft world should be able to operate like this. How on earth did Andrew suddenly work here? But more importantly, is this place? Why is there another bone? Did Chris leave it for us? The description certainly doesn't help. The echo of my voice ricochets off the brick lining of my watery tube. Forever I rest in this damn dark. It's very unlikely this message came from Andrew himself, but if it didn't, then who left it for us? Brick lining a watery tube is again referencing a well, and the language is very similar to the sign we saw in episode 6. So did Chris...
Oh no, wait, I never got to this part
If so, then the
in
line,
this account.
"Forever I rest in this damn dark tomb," almost confirms our suspicions that Chris might have died in a well. Or at least he's dead in a well, either or not very enticing. And if the wells weren't creepy enough, the next video only makes it 10 times worse. Images of Towers.mp4 delivers exactly what it promises in the title. Images of tall brick towers similar to the dimension we saw Andrew fall into, except the final image is not of a tower, creepy brick well in the middle of the woods. This leads to a very concerning question. Is this the well where Chris died? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Other than the well, there isn't much to see here, so it's time to look at the next video. leave. This video resumes exactly where Towers left off, but in the distance, right away, you can see the same black figure hiding in the stairs at the edge of the tower in front of Andrew. They descend down the stairs, and Andrew is quick to follow. Throughout this whole video, there is no audio, and as Andrew descends into the tower, we see many dimly lit hallways. A minute in, we can glimpse the black figure flying away, almost trying to get Andrew's attention and maybe lead him somewhere. As Andrew continues to explore, he finds more and more doors, and note that whenever he leaves a room, he closes the door behind him, a detail that will be very important in the future, so remember that. 2 minutes in, Andrew enters a room with barred-off iron doors and a painting that doesn't exist in the vanilla game. It looks like it could definitely be a Minecraft painting, but it's never appeared in the game before. When Andrew finally follows where the black figure flew off to, he runs into an empty dark corner, and as he turns back, there's a sign, leave. Note that now every single door is open, despite Andrew having meticulously closed each one. Andrew eventually does leave, and we can see the dark figure crossing the bridge to another tower, and the video ends. What we just watched was extremely cryptic. The painting we saw before was created by Christopher Zetterstrand, the same artist that made the other Minecraft paintings. However, it's true that this one was never in the game. It's a piece titled An Alternative Route. Is this symbolic of something, or just random choice? Well, not to ruin the surprise, but this painting selection wasn't random. It'll make way more sense later down the line. But this doesn't really address the other giant questions this video leaves us with. Namely, where is this place, and what's the point of it all? What is Andrew or this black figure trying to tell us? And what's all the doors being opened, and most importantly, why did he tell us to leave? It seems odd that after seemingly beckoning Andrew to this dimension and down into the building, the black figure now wants him to leave. Why? You're the one that led him here, unless there's someone else who wrote this sign. It's also worth noting the title of the video isn't complete. While the video itself is called Leave, the description has a continuation. Leave or stay for eternity. The nature of this split-up title could be purely an artistic choice, but it just as well could hint at some sort of conversation. Two people wanting different things from Andrew. Either he leaves or he stays forever. Two different entities, just as we've seen haunting Andrew's world. The following video, Garden in the Sky, could be one of the most tragic and eerie videos I've ever seen, so let's get to watching. The title is again incomplete. The Garden in the Sky, as tranquil as death. If that doesn't clue you into what's to come, well, you'll see. The video begins with Andrew crossing the bridge from last episode, and all is still and silent. But in the distance, we can begin to make out a hedge, with a parrot on a leash floating over it. Andrew runs into a room with two signs, one that says Purify Your Soul, and another that says Pit of Purification. The implication here is obvious. Andrew has to set his spawn inside the room and jump into the lava to respawn on the other side pure. No items. When Andrew sees this, he immediately turns around and runs away, not wanting to die. But no, he's not running away at all. He snatches the bone from the chest earlier and puts it in the ender chest along with his bottle. He sets his spawn, the footage flips as he does, and Andrew jumps to his death in the Pit of Purification. When he respawns on the other side, Andrew reads a sign that says no going back. Unbothered, he exits the building, now in the middle of the night, and enters the garden. The Garden in the Sky is a hedge maze filled with various flowers and parrots on leaves. As he reaches the center, Andrew comes across an obelisk, a mossy cobblestone shrine, Chris's favorite block, and right in front of it, a wither rose. If it wasn't already clear from the description and the creepy messages from before, this should be the final nail in the coffin. Chris is dead. Andrew doesn't stop there though, he keeps walking. He finds another well, interestingly already open with the fence on the left side, the same place Andrew put the fence when he originally exited the well into this dimension. Someone has been here before him. Unfazed, Andrew takes the plunge. He heads through a tunnel and enters a totally white void. This video is drenched with symbolism. It seems the garden might be a metaphor for heaven. The chained down birds may imply that Chris's soul wants to fly on, but is for some reason tied down, stuck in some sort of limbo, hence why he's still able to communicate with us, with Andrew. Assuming we are really correct about him being dead, that is. Though the shrine and wither rose essentially spell it out for us, but the open fence still raises some questions. Was Chris the one here before us, or is something else at play? And still, none of this addresses who's silence, but most importantly, where is Andrew now? Well, there's only one way to find out. The next video protocol doesn't seem to be from Andrew's perspective. Instead, we're treated to a black hand. This is likely the figure that we saw earlier. He runs through a hallway, glances nervously at a black armor stand, and heads into a room marked 11 and flicks a lever. But wait, while there's no audio besides some monotonic beeping, if you turn on captions, you get an entirely different story. I'm running it. Of course I'm running it. He's gone too far already. He's just gonna make the same mistake I did. I'll run the protocol, wipe and save his memory. He won't solve this, but it might buy him some time. Eventually he will remember, just like I did. Just prolonging the inevitable. God, I have to do this. Here goes. A new day begins. In the video, we see whoever this is activate something called the protocol, apparently wiping Andrew or Subject 136's memories. If you look it up, Leaf is a river in the underworld of mythology. If you drink its water, you experience complete amnesia and lose your memories, only confirming what we saw in the subtitles. But okay, what in the world does this actually mean? Why is whoever this is trying to erase Andrew's memories and his world file? This intent clearly lines up with the leaf sign we saw earlier. They want Andrew to forget this all happening to him. According to our mysterious shadowy narrator, they don't want Andrew making the same mistake they did, though as we see in the subtitles and description, this is only delaying what seems to be inevitable. But there is one detail in this video that is absolutely huge, one extremely obvious yet extremely subtle feature. Whoever this is using Andrew's resource pack. Recall that this isn't vanilla Minecraft textures, it's a pack that Andrew set up earlier in the Let's Play, and who did Andrew say helped him with the resource pack and tech stuff again?
Back in the day, whenever I want to do something with a mod or a texture pack, Chris was always the one to figure that out for me. He was a little tech wizard.
This is Chris, the black figure that we've been theorizing about for so long.
Gee, who would have guessed?
Confirmed to be Chris, meaning he is somehow in Andrew's world, showing him around and leaving messages despite being seemingly dead. Does this mean that Smile is also Chris? Maybe, but it could just as easily be someone else. So let's just not brush over the fact that Chris
Wow!
is dead and also haunting Andrew's Minecraft world. It seems we have a ghost in the machine, but how and why? What is Chris trying to prevent Andrew? And with Smile, and what is with this interdimensional well madness? Well, luckily this isn't where the series ends. Our questions will be answered. We just have to watch the next video.
Hey guys, my name is Andrew.
How reliable.
I don't know if any of you really know me other than a few personal friends, but the other day I was checking my channel, my YouTube channel, the one you're watching this video on, and I saw that I had a random influx of subscribers. I think around the time of recording, it's around almost 2,500, which is just insane to me, considering the fact that I don't have any videos.
It's clear that the Leaf protocol worked, and for some reason Andrew has totally forgotten that he has other videos and has played on previous worlds before. The video itself is quite long. It is a very normal Minecraft Let's Play. A few minutes in, Andrew gets jumped by a full gold skeleton. This is the third time this has happened. It might be random chance, but it is strange that it happened 3 times. Besides that, though, the video is totally ordinary until the very end when this happens.
We need a bit more wood. We need... whatever, I'll just cut down another tree. I'm not gonna take my time and calculate.
Finish every game.
It's clear that someone has unfinished business with Andrew. Whether it's Chris or not, that seems to be up in the air. But that's not all. Searching through the captions halfway through the video, there's a single string of text. GDXC, etc. It's a YouTube URL. Typing it in takes us to an unlisted video. He is still here, and according to the description, but he shouldn't be. Is the he in question Andrew? It seems like it, since this video is exactly like the Stalker one we saw very early into the first Let's Play. It's more footage of someone watching Andrew from a distance. What's notable is that Andrew almost to look at whoever's recording halfway through the video. If we match that scene up with footage from Andrew's video, we see a suspicious cut right where it happened. What's up with that? The music playing in this video is also very important. It's a remixed version of the Minecraft soundtrack song Wet Hands, and coincidentally or not, it's the exact same song that was playing back in the other Stalker video. Wet Hands? Wet from a well, maybe? Who knows? This video doesn't give us a whole lot though, so we have to continue watching the series.
Hey guys, this is Andrew. Andrew Gaming 67 here. Here with what is technically my fourth video on this world, but is actually my second.
One is the sound.
Because unfortunately, I
Power is upon us.
lost footage. Oh, we have a baby. We have a baby chicken.
Andrew begins this episode by showing us the progress of the last day. It's worth noting that he has a single piece of mossy cobblestone in his chest, which he then explains as follows.
Now, you may have seen it, because I did open the chest. But in the mine,
How reliable.
last video I explained it very well.
This is
I was
my
mining.
ground.
And I looked up at this part of the wall,
Swift and resolute.
and I saw a piece of cobblestone. Very interesting piece of cobblestone. Piece of mossy cobblestone. I don't know what it was doing in there. It wasn't connected to a spawner like I thought.
This is definitely odd and unnatural, confirming that Chris isn't done with Andrew just yet. He then touches on two fan suggestions.
For some reason, many of you requesting I build a well. I will build a well eventually, because it actually took me back to a memory I had. Me and my friend, I mentioned him in a previous video. We, what do you call it? He would always build wells in my worlds for some reason. He would just build like my worlds, his worlds, whatever world he was playing on, there would be a well. It was always very interesting to me, and I haven't talked to him in a long time. I was going to go visit one of our old worlds together, but as you guys know, my old worlds were strangely corrupted or hidden. Unfortunately, the error with filming has persisted.
Whoa.
And decided
Jump
to
scare.
go
Keep it together.
somewhere in the middle of my video.
I got your
But
back.
basically, what I decided to do after I put the chicken in that little fence is I started building a tower. Started building a cobblestone tower per request by a fan.
Despite that, though, nothing else seems to happen in this episode, although mossy cobblestone and sign from earlier do call into question Chris's motives. If his goal was to reset Andrew's memory and make him forget all he experienced, why give him clues like this in the first place? Chris seems to acknowledge this, as he or someone else leaves a message to us in the description. Once again, we have to patiently wait for the story to unfold.
I built a little
I got
wall.
your back.
One more thing I realized, I have shears, so I picked up some vines, and I can actually make some mossy cobblestone with it. So I'm gonna make 13 mossy cobblestone, because you guys really liked, for some reason, my mossy cobblestone blocks. And with the name of my dog, the one that came through for me, for the name of the dog, is Chris, because there were a lot of people saying you should name him Chris, and I did mention my friend Chris. And Chris, I don't know if you're watching this. If you are, hey, you should reply to my messages.
Andrew mentions how he needs to find clay in order to build a well, but when he looks out to find some, he sees this.
So, a comment I was reading earlier was talking about how annoying clay is to find, and that reminded me that if I need bricks, I'm gonna need clay. So I was thinking we could go down to the river somewhere over there. Hold on. There's like... Yeah, I gotta check this out. There's like a bunch of huge holes in the ice over there. What the hell?
The explanation to us, the viewer, is obvious. Someone has dug up all the clay. But who and why? Well, it's almost certainly Chris trying to prevent Andrew from building another well. No clay means no bricks, and no bricks means no well, and no well means no remembering. But Andrew is determined, and a little later, this happens.
It's probably way worse in like old Minecraft. What the what just... What just happened? Wow, scared the shit out of me. What is this? Is this... My heart's actually beating so fast right now. I don't know what to do.
Let's take it slow.
I'm really confused. See, extinguished campfire, bed, chest. But I didn't think this could spawn here. Oh, I guess that solved our clay
Excited for what's
issue.
inside? Aren't you adorable?
Okay. I don't know at all what's going on right now.
This must be absolutely horrifying for Andrew to find in this world, but we, the viewers, know the truth. This is Chris. The description all but confirms this, and the videos continue.
Hey guys, this is Andrew here.
Here
Decided
we
that
fucking go.
I would make another video today. I know it's been a little bit now.
You're going down at last. You son of a bitch.
Find my life.
Andrew starts the video going off by
I have the worst luck when it comes to mine in caves. As you can see, I've been in here a little bit. Not very long as I died.
I got your
At the end of the video with the newfound materials, Andrew begins constructing a well, though he doesn't have enough to finish it, and Chris comments on it in the description. But we actually take a break from the Let's Play series here, as Andrew does an unexpected tour of an old realm that he used to play on. This video is honestly a whole lot of nothing for the first 14 minutes, and we just see strange XP orbs in the water, but that doesn't mean much on its own. A few minutes later, though, Andrew is suddenly swarmed by a giant group of phantoms, and even stranger than that, the phantoms don't even seem to be interested in him. Instead, flying towards some invisible presence somewhere around Andrew, and our
What am I supposed to do with this?
the lighthouse, Andrew spots.
There you go.
The lighthouse.
How reliable.
One with the sound.
Of course, we know that's no Enderman, that's Chris, watching Andrew wherever he goes. At the end of the video, Wet Hands begins to play, the same song we've seen both times from Chris's point of view. Again, the description confirms our suspicions. The final sentence is extremely interesting, validating our guess that this magical protocol that erased Andrew's memories isn't permanent, and Chris is trying to stop the memories from coming back. Although, again, this seems to completely contradict the various Easter eggs Chris has left Andrew throughout his Let's Play, which seem like only make him remember it faster, but this isn't all that's happened on the realm. The next video of freaked out Andrew tells us this.
Hey guys, Andrew here. I know I just uploaded a video. You're probably wondering what exactly is going on. But, something a little strange happened in the latest video. I didn't notice until after it was uploaded. But at the part where I go up into the lighthouse, and I'm walking around beyond screen right here. So I go up the ladder, and I'm looking around. I noticed something. Well, the comments helped me notice something. I didn't see it while I was recording or while I was editing. It sort of blended in with the glass. I'll freeze frame it right here so you can see. But there's a glass bottle that you can see that it looks like maybe someone's holding. I don't know why this sort of thing is happening a lot, whether it be on the realm or on my Let's Play series, but obviously I would like for it to stop. It's not going to stop unless I stop playing. I just have this weird feeling.
We get a very ominous note in the description below Andrew's message, and with that, we move into the penultimate Let's Play.
I've been, as you might be able to tell, a little bit busy.
Today, Andrew heads to the Nether, and after doing a lot of suffering to the hands of ghasts and zombified piglins, he finally gets his bearings and leaves, only to find that his well has been destroyed.
I was gonna go back down into the mine, and I come over here. I didn't take too much of a close look.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
But something happened to the well. Something that is not right in this world. I don't know what it is, and I've been ignoring it for too long. I need to... It's just, I don't know, something keeps happening in these worlds, and I mean, look, there's snowballs in the ground. This happened recently.
The motive to us is obvious. Chris is hoping that by destroying the well, Andrew won't return to the sky. But as we're about to find out, that doesn't stop Andrew for long.
Hey guys, this is Andrew. Coming back with another video. I've been quite busy. I got a bunch of diamonds, strip mining. We're gonna go find the stronghold. Maybe not go to the end yet, but we might as well go find the stronghold at the very least.
Andrew then goes to craft an ender chest, but when he does, he finds this inside.
Okay. What? What are these doing in here? What is going on with my world today?
The exact same items he put in his ender chest in the Land of Towers in the previous Let's Play.
You know when, like, you do something when you're, like, really young in Minecraft or, like, a video game, and then you play that game again, and, like, there's a certain specific thing that you see that kind of, like, triggers your brain, and it, like, I want to say deja vu, but it's not even really that. It's, like, more than deja vu, it's, like, stronger.
And then, suddenly, as if in a trance, Andrew goes silent, and the memories start flooding back.
Sorry, I don't mean to, like, freak out or anything on camera or, like, over dramatic. I know it's just Minecraft, but that doesn't usually happen. Everything's sort of just like going back to me. I need to fix the well. It doesn't want me. Do you ever wonder that live in the ice cold, freezing waters below the ice? If your Minecraft character feels how cold it is, or do you feel nothing? Do it now. I want to do it.
The song that plays right as Andrew goes through, and the only music so far, is an unused song from Minecraft Volume Alpha, C418's Riss. In the next episode, as expected, Andrew finds himself back in the Land of Towers. He spawns into a room with two paintings, the Wanderer and an alternative route. He wanders through various other rooms and stumbles across a trail of signs. I told you to leave, but you did not listen. You never did listen. Curiosity killed the cat. How curious are you? Andrew follows down the path and eventually jumps down a trapdoor into the Land of Towers and Wells, and the video ends. It's interesting that this trapdoor is already open, given that, as we've noticed, Andrew has a very pronounced habit of closing every door behind him. What does this open one mean? Well, it serves a very clever indicator that he's been here before, or at least someone else has been here before. This is also something that I touched on earlier, but now that we know Andrew's memory can be erased, there's no telling how many times he's truly been in this dimension. Have we truly watched the entirety of Andrew's story, or has there been more in the past that we missed and was erased by the Leaf Protocol? There's no way to know. In the next video, Andrew crosses a bridge and jumps into yet another well, and when he comes out, he has this to say.
Okay, just keep going then. There's more. I don't know what that just was. And I don't know where I am right now. I don't know what any of that was back there. I don't know why that tower, but I remember now. I don't know why it had such a memory gap.
This is not the last journal, however. No more journals will be hidden within this world. I'm going to continue this documentation in the same world where I made all the test structures. This is a reminder for myself, not an invitation to go find it yourself. If all goes as planned, I'd be able to get to the other world without even closing out of this one. And as expected, when he finishes reading, Andrew finds a bone and a bucket of water, just what he needs to escape this world through the well. But before he does, Andrew breaks down.
I'm tired. When I finally think I have something, it's just nothing. And now I've got to go, I'm sure I've got to take this water bucket, put it in the well, and go down. And I'll end up in that place where I can't talk anymore. The land of towers. These towers, these wells, are connecting across multiple devices. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense as to how this is happening. How I'm able to go down a well, come out of another one, and be in a place that I've never even been to, a place that I've only seen or heard of. It doesn't make sense. In a weird f***ing way, it sort of does. In a weird, twisted way, it's a concept that I can grasp. It's a concept I can at least understand. Maybe not why, but how it works. And now I'm just rambling. I'm a lunatic. Hell, I barely even remembered Chris.
One,
I barely even remembered all the
6,
times that we...
10. Yeah, I don't need to bother.
All the times we played games. But no one else was there for me. He was there for me. I knew something was missing, but I ignored it. Something was off. Let's feel right.
The sound.
So I guess next time I'm in a new place, I'll talk to you guys because something about that place down the well that
Strike from the shadow.
keeps me from speaking. So
I got your back.
I'm just gonna go and
How reliable.
try to respond to some comments.
Attack is
So thanks for watching this video. Sorry, it was kind of just nothing, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Leave it to me.
He's definitely strong. Andrew isn't going to give up. He's going to find his friend. He's going to find and save Chris from whatever hell is going on. But before we watch on, let's talk about the journals. In Journal 1, Chris claims to have discovered a powerful secret, something nobody would believe him about. We can probably speculate that this is the ability of the wells to travel in worlds. Surely seems like something out of fantasy. Journal 2, though, throws a wrench into all the story we've built up so far. His desire to build a horror map for Andrew calls into question the legitimacy of all the videos we've seen. Is this whole channel just a map that Andrew is playing? Though given Andrew's reaction...
Oh yeah.
The severity of the mental torture Andrew is going through, it's likely that this isn't just a map that Chris would give to his friend. This is real horror. Chris also somewhat confirms this was meant to be the horror map, and apparently building the well in the center changed everything. In Journal 3, Chris mentions a structure that can fulfill your wishes that he found in the woods near his house. This is obviously a well, but taking it one step further, I'm willing to bet good money that this is the exact same well we see in the woods in the video images of towers. This is the well in the woods next to Chris's house. Apparently, when Chris tried to recreate the build, whenever he rejoined his world, he would be consumed by textureless blocks. But then when he tried in a creative world, the corruption never happened. What this makes me think is that either he didn't build the right creative, or something about replicating his town in the woods brought upon the corruption. Chris ends with a note saying that he'll finish the documentation in said creative world as well as the well designs, a world we will soon actually see. He mentions this isn't an invitation, but it seems so beckoning, just like all the mixed messages we've talked about so far. Does Chris want or not want Andrew to keep going? Andrew also addresses this in the comments. He's confused to what Chris's true intention is. Regardless, this isn't where our story ends, as Andrew keeps pushing forward. After jumping through the well, Andrew is back in the land of towers and later exits into a camera. He finds a door with a slice of cake and he begins to climb the various ladders and pathways, but 9 minutes in, this happens.
I feel like it's keeping me warm, but there's none down there.
Take it slow.
How did you miss?
Attack is the
Hello?
best defense.
Hello?
No biggie, just a scratch.
Damn it. Hello?
Life is in everything.
Swift and resolute. One with the sound.
Andrew chases the figure but can't catch up, and the black shadow disappears. But just as Andrew mentions that his world might actually be haunted, Wet Hands starts playing.
I don't know
Moment of resonance.
what that is, and I don't think it's like a mob or like a mod, because it doesn't why would it be any of that. I mean, this whole time I've kind of just been hoping to myself that's what it is, you know? I've been just holding on to hope, hoping that my game isn't, I don't want to say haunted, because I don't even know what the implications of a game being haunted could even mean. I know a lot of people have been saying that figure, that the figure is
The hour is
Chris.
upon us.
I'm not a ghost believer, but
Time.
I mean,
I got your back.
if there's a ghost in my game, let's just entertain the idea that there's a ghost in my game. If there's a ghost in my game, and people are saying it's the ghost of Chris, then that implies something bad. It implies something really bad.
Swift and
So,
resolute. One with the sound.
you know what?
The end has come.
I don't care what it was. We're gonna keep going.
If we look into the description, Andrew notes that the subtitles of this video are messed up, and this should immediately pique our interest. Indeed, turning on captions, we find a messed up string of text. The text is encoded in base64, and decoding it gives us a YouTube URL to another unlisted video called Not Listening. This is from the POV of our black figure watching Andrew, and also notably, he can hear him. This guy doesn't just watch Andrew, he can fully hear what he's saying. Further, the idea that this is a ghost stuck in Andrew's machine, not just someone in his world. In the following video, A Familiar Place, Andrew spawns back in Towerland. He explores a little,
Worth a try.
finds a tunnel with
Even
a
if I don't get the full
smooth
star.
stone and sandstone. Upon entering the well and picking up a blue rose, he appears in, well, a familiar place. I'll let him take it away.
I might be wrong here, but
One with the sound.
Greenstone. This
The hour
looks
is
a lot
upon
like.
us. Sounds come.
Well, it looks a lot like what it is. It's crazy.
Reliable. Victory, guide my blade.
Sorry. Kind of caught me off guard with this one. This is the, for those of you who don't know, this is the old Legacy Console Edition tutorial world.
One with the sound.
I think what specifically about this version, this house that's down here, this is the first world I ever played on when I first bought the game. Or not bought the game, got it for my birthday.
7 minutes in, though, something strange happens. The video cuts, and it notifies us that some time has passed and his voice has completely changed.
I will say, it is really weird to be back here. I don't think I would ever explore this world again.
What happened here? This question never really gets addressed, but Andrew isn't all that has changed. All the lights are totally gone. Andrew, largely unfazed by this, takes a few minutes to reminisce on the world. He explores and walks around, but finally runs into a trail of signs that read as follows.
But closer, get the third string. We are not alone. I was the second, and you'll be the third, but the first is not a kind one. You can still leave, but you won't do that. You are too far gone, and you don't even know it.
Andrew then finds a well, and the video ends. The obvious point of interest in this video is the messages on the signs, likely left by none other than Chris himself. The first one,
The closer you get, the further you stray.
reads like some sort of Sphinx riddle and could mean many different things, but the next few are very interesting.
We are not alone. That was the second. Well, the third, but the first is not kind.
So according to Chris, there are 3 people in the equation. Him, Andrew, and first. But who is that? Well, you may recall that across the series, there have only ever been 3 characters. The 2 main ones, Andrew and Chris, but a third, a smaller character that I mentioned here and there. That's right, smile. Is this mysterious smiling figure the first? And in that case, who really is he, and what does he want with Andrew, and what was he actually the first of? Well, I'm happy and sad to say we're about to find out the tragic truth. This is the island in the mist. The video begins with Andrew in Towerland. He sees a well in the far distance, an island in the mist, and as he tries to get to it, he realizes that he can walk on the void, so he begins to spin the gap towards the well. But
It's not realistic for me to actually be able to beat him right now.
There he is.
70's too big of a gap.
Andrew minds it and turns around one more time to see Smile chasing after him.
Okay. I don't know what that was back there. Something was. I don't know what it was. So I don't have any blocks on me. Of course I don't have any blocks on me. Whatever was following me can't get through here. I'm sure I didn't feel it. I don't even know where it came from. How long it's been following me for. Sorry, guys.
The world where Andrew pops out is also an island in the mist. He finds my home and my cow, and then what appears to be a well. Is this the creative world that Chris was talking about in his journals when he was trying to replicate the will designs, or is this something totally different? Andrew follows the path to Blue Rose Summit and runs into more signs.
The flowers remind me of before I became what used to be. What have I become? This isn't anymore. I want to go home. I have to figure out how to recreate the magic well. It took me to a place so nice, but I cannot remember the blueprint.
Andrew runs into more well designs. Progress, yet regression, and not enough clay, possibly. This one sign verifies that this likely isn't the creative world Chris was talking about in his journals, otherwise how would he not have enough clay to finish the well? You can't run out of blocks in creative mode, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The worst is very much yet to come.
I don't know what that's all about. Like, lead places. Maybe, I don't know, decorative choice. Where'd it go? You know what to do. There's a hole in the tree. Alright, whoever's in this world, this isn't funny anymore. What do you want? I'm at a breaking point here. I'm at a breaking point. What do you want from me? You know what to do. What does that mean? Great. Yeah, you know, I think it's great that you're being cryptic with me, Chris. If that's even who you are. I think it's great that you're leading me on a wild goose chase.
I need more characters.
I get that you like to create experiences for people or whatever, contextualize. But could you just talk to me? Is it that hard?
Andrew finishes the well and enters the tower world, except he's not on the surface this time. Instead, he's met with this.
I think I'm done for today.